Hey, welcome back, knife nerds and everyday care people. It's your boy, the Big Canucker here, and we are at the end of another year, ready to ring in the new year here. It is the last day, and I wanted to get in my last little video. I'm sorry I had a little bit of time off there with the granddaughter. I had to look after her all week. She was over visiting Papa, so Papa couldn't get away to do any videos. So, sometimes the old family needs to have the Papa there, so I was. And I am going to go over my top 5 knives of 2021. These two aren't going to be on this video, but they are a couple of important knives that I got from Christmas from my boy. They're actually Greg Paulson specials, and they deserve their own videos whatsoever. And my son, he actually helped build these two, so I'm pretty excited about doing that. We'll put that away for now. But we are going to go over our top 5. Now, I know there are probably going to be knives out there that are better than these knives, but these are the knives that I owned here over the last 2021. And we're gonna do with that. I was kind of hoping to do a video of top 5 knives that I'd like to own in 2021. So I just didn't get around to do that. I might do that at the beginning of the year, and they could be top 5 knives maybe that I want to get in 2022. But that's what we're gonna do for now. So what we'll do is let's head to the tabletop and let's have a look at them right now. All right. So as always here, we're gonna start off with number 5, and these are in an order leading up to number 1. I did shoot this video already, but for some reason I was so zoomed in on just such a small area that half the time the knife was out of the picture, and I just didn't want that to happen. So let's make sure that that is framed correctly this time, because I had freaked me out the last time. All right, here we go with I think an absolutely Hall of Fame knife here, the Spyderco Shaman in black on black with a black DLC coating on it. This knife is an ergonomic dream to have. S30V steel, fully flat ground blade, polished G10 with a spoon clip on it and the compression lock. It is a fidget dream. It is an absolute dream if you're a working man. This fits in the pocket so nicely. Little on the porky side of 5.2 ounces, but your edge length here is 3.12. Your blade is 3.58, so right on the perfect 3.5 inch for EDC carry, but a nice big opening lanyard hole, and like I said, ergonomic dream on this with a 50-50 choil up front, so you can do some choking up on here. I discovered here that you can also open this up as almost like a front flipper here, which I thought was so neat that I ended up wearing a hole in my thumb here over a weekend one time, from because this jimping is a little bit grippy and you need to get gripped on there quite good to open it up that way. I did a little bit of a skinny mod on mine. I took my Dremel and I just shaved it just a smidge, so mine's probably just a little bit lighter. It's probably sub 5 ounces, but still great knife. Golden Colorado S30V steel, black on black with a DLC coating and lanyard hole. It is an unbelievable knife, and that is my 5th knife here for 2021 that I own. All right, number 4 is going to be this bugger right here, and I was really surprised at this knife when I first got here. How much I love this knife. Now, when I picked this knife out, I had traded my paramilitary 2 away for an Osborne 940, and I was really surprised at how well I took to this knife. I thought, well, it's a paramilitary 2, but smaller, yada yada yada. But no, really, this is a great knife unto its own. It's familiar enough from having a paramilitary 2 that I knew, I could take it out of my pocket, open it and close it, in the dark, no problem. The muscle memory was there, but it was new enough with the feelings of it that it was really exciting. And I thought, having a sub 3.5 inch blade, it's actually a sub 3 inch blade, 2.95 ounce or 2.95 inch blade. I thought for sure I was going to suffer in the everyday carry aspect of it, but no, not so ever. Cardboard cutting, all around cutting with this thing. I didn't miss that extra 1/2 inch whatsoever. It was a dream to use. Just blew me away when you're cutting cardboard with this Maximum steel. I have sharpened this, of course, to like a mirror finish. It is hair whittling sharp right now, and I have used this knife for months and months and months, and I have not had to put this on any sort of sharpening medium whatsoever. I stropped it a bit just to see if that would kind of if Maximum steel can be stropped back into sharp, and it just was. I was blown away at how easy it is to keep this knife completely sharp. One of the sharpest blades that I own, and I was surprised at how well the Maximum steel kept that. Now, not going to be as tough as say somebody like the S30V, not stainless whatsoever either. And I did put a mustard patina on here just to kind of get ahead of that that whole patina thing. And so far, it's the environment that I keep it in here in southern Alberta. There's been no issues with it whatsoever. Compression lock, again, I think the best lock. Golden Colorado knife along with this one. Fully flat ground blade, 4-position clip with a lanyard hole. That seems to be my go-to knife. I love that 4-position clip because I love carrying my knives tip up. I hate a tip down knife. Don't get me started on that. And I like having a lanyard too because I love having that pull with my pinky finger when I go to use my knife. That's what I use all the time. And not a tiny blade either. I've got double XL hands and I can put a full 4-fingered grip on this, no problems. With this kind of a 60-40 choil on here, it makes it even more to do the delicate work. So there's no wonder that this was a number 4 knife in my eyes. All right. Here's a knife that kind of surprised me coming out of the blue too as well. Wasn't looking for this at all. This is your paramilitary 2 with the crew wear as well as the canvas micarta handle on it. I got this from these folks here at Alberta Firearms, Stephen and Matt out there. Don't forget to see those guys. I'll make sure that their address and their phone number is in the description. If you're in southern Alberta or anywhere in Canada and you're looking for a Spyderco, talk to these guys here. But I was out there shooting a video out there and doing a little bit of an interview, and he said, look at the new stuff that I got. And I put this in my hand, and once again, it was like a bell that rang. And I was looking to get a paramilitary 2, but probably not that day. But he said, hey, this is a new one that came out, crew wear, canvas micarta, and I put it in my hand, and I was like, damn it, I'm taking this knife home. And I just wasn't planning on it, and I wasn't sorry at all. This has been... Since I got this knife, I think 2.5 months ago, this has been in my pocket here 80% of the time. It's fantastic. A lot of people were complaining about the fact that because it is canvas micarta and the torsional rigidity is not there like a G10, they were complaining that, the slider sticks out a little bit. It's flush. Where these, the paramilitary 2 and this para 3, they're nested. And they thought, well, you can see the liner. But I think it just adds a little bit extra oomph to this. I think it just looks cool. You don't notice it from the side, but when you see it on this view, I think it looks really, really sharp. 3.7 mil wide blade, really 3.46 long, with a 3-inch cutting surface. This is your Hall of Fame, bar none, one of your best EDCs that you can possibly own at all. The crew wear here is really a tough steel. Not as stainless as, say, not stainless at all, but nowhere near something like the Maximum here or any of your real high carbon steels. It's still got some stainlessness to it, but if you're cutting apples and you've got, say, fruit juice on it or orange juice, the acid will mar the finish on it in no time. But if you get a little bit of water on there, you're not going to have to worry about this thing rusting in your pocket either, okay? Especially if you're in kind of a sweaty environment. A lot of people, their steels do rust in their pockets, where this one will, I think, long term, but it's not as nowhere near bad as, say, the Maximum, and way, way tougher too as well. Crew wear is a great, fantastic steel, and this is a regular stocked item. It sells out like crazy. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you see this in a store or you see this online, snap it up, because if you don't buy it, somebody else will very, very quickly, because the paramilitary 2 is one of the most beloved, best EDC knives out there, and when you get a new variety on them, they are incredibly hot, and this is no different whatsoever. I think actually Alberta Firearms still has one too as well, so if you're looking for one, give them guys a call. Nice big lanyard opening. Now, a lot of knife guys seem to dislike the fact that these are pressed in there. Yes, it's a little bit of a pain when you're going to change the scales and stuff like that, but I think it's a small price to pay for a little bit extra stability, because they treat this lanyard tube as almost like a standoff, and it just gives you that little bit of extra strength. I mean, it's like, how often are you really going to be pulling these scales off. And if you want to open this up to service either one of them, you take these screws out, you take it, you move it aside, and you can get out all the innards no problem. It's only when you want to pull these scales completely apart that you run into an issue there, and then it's just a little bit of extra prying in the bottom with a piece of wood or plastic. So I don't think it's the end of the world, and I think that it just adds to the strength. And like I said, great blade here. 4-position clip too as well. The spoon clip, it's fully flat ground. Now, a lot of people here were concerned about this spoon clip here, wishing they had the wire clip, which, the wire clip I think looks good. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a better looking of the clip, but I think this spoon clip holds so well. I've not had an issue ever of this ever coming out of my pocket, and I wear this a lot with my sweatpants. And yes, since I've been off work, I've been wearing a lot of damn sweatpants. And yeah, so I have no worries that this is going to cut out of my pocket whatsoever. All right, number 4. Now, removing this a little bit quickly is this. This has been not a lifelong, but in my collecting of knives, this has been one of my grail knives that I have wanted to have since I started collecting knife, the Spyderco Tough. Now, Ed Shemp designed, this is not the original. The original is Spyderco Tough Ed Shemp. It's got all the divots drilled in it like a golf ball. This one happens to be the DLT exclusive with the OD green and CPM crew wear. The original one had, I think, 3CV in it, which is a great steel too as well. But I didn't like the OD green. That's just my kind of opinion. So I dyed this scale, this red, and it gave me this nice rich burgundy, which I think just sets the knife out perfectly. It's my kind of my Deadpool knife. That's what I call it, because it's got the blacked out hardware with the blacked out knife. Now, this does have what's called a titanium it's called a carbonitride coating on here too, and that's basically, it's nanometers thick, or nanomils thick. It's so thin that you can actually see the grinds in the steel still, but it is so tough. This one here is called a DLC coating, which is diamond-like carbon or diamond-like coating, but it's thick where you can't see the grind lines underneath. But it's, I did scratch the heck out of it, but it was tough enough that it took diamond stone to scratch it. I'm sure some heavy steel and stuff I could scratch it with another steel, but so far this has held up quite a bit better than the other DLC. And I like the fact that it's shiny. It's very, very smooth. It's got, almost like a lubricating property to it, and it's protecting this crew wear, which is not stainless. So I'm not worried about getting a little bit of fruit juice on there with this coating, because it's not going to mar the finish whatsoever. And it is tough, and it's shiny too as well. So now this here has got a 3.76 inch long blade, but it's got a really big 50-50 choil here that brings that down to about 3 inches. So the the cutting length on there is similar to these other two, but you've got that extra bit. Now, some people might turn people off because it is a little bit of a weird knife, but it gives you that it's a big, heavy chopper type knife, but with this choil, it gives you the ability to do some fine work with it. It gives you some ability to do some kind of chopping with it, because it's got that really stout 4mm blade on it in the crew wear. And it's got that kind of negative cant there too as well. That is something that takes a little bit getting used to, but when you are used to it, it really allows you to bear down hard on this knife in a really, really comfortable way that really, really surprised me. And it's got kind of bumps and curves in all the right places when you're trying to think of a really tough, heavy duty knife to use. And it's unusual too as well. It's just not your everyday knife. When you take this out of your pocket, and believe me, I've taken this out of my pocket around some knife guys, and it always elicits some ooh and ahs, I wish the rest of my life was in that same sort of thing. But this Spyderco Tough is something that you definitely is not your everyday type of blade. It is something that if you're going to go out there and kill a Tyrannosaurus Rex, this is what you're going to do with. This is what you're going to use to cut it up with. All right, so let's make sure that I've got Yeah, I don't want to make the same mistake last time where I was completely out of focus on everything here. All right, so this is number one, and it's not a Spyderco. It is a Rick Hinderer Eclipse Spanto or Tonto, some people call that, in the black with the battle blue titanium lock side on it, and tri-way pivot. I was so blown away when I put this in my hand. I was like, Rick Hinderer knives, you know, like these are $425 American, which is, I know, close to 700 Canadian. And I thought, man, oh man, that's a lot of dough for a knife. Now, I didn't buy this brand new. I brought this pre-owned. And when I put this in my hand, it was like, oh, it was the feel of quality. It's really, really hard to say. I mean, this G10 here and this G10 there, they feel different. This feels like a better version of that. Like it just does. This titanium here and this titanium here, I mean, they're both titanium, but the way this one's put together, it just seems like it's more of tougher, I guess, or just more high end. It just has that kind of feeling to it. It has the world famous tri-way pivot, which allows you to put in different pivot materials. So you can, right now it's got a bearing in it, but you could put nylon bearing or nylon washers, or you can also put a bronze phosphor washer in there too as well. And you kind of wonder, well, maybe why would you want to do that? Well, to me, I think the smoothest one is going to be your bearings. People may be different, but I think the bearings are the kind of the smoothest ones. But if you're out in, say, like the desert, if you're deploying to Afghanistan or Iraq, you might want to put a non ball bearing in there. You might want to put just a straight nylon, because the one thing about nylon over the bronze phosphor is nylon is a self-lubricating washer. So if you're not going to be able to, say, do any sort of maintenance to this knife for, say, 10 months, maybe you'll want to put the nylon bearing in there rather than the phosphor bronze. But if you've got access to some lube, maybe the phosphor bronze would do, you know, it's a little more tougher. So other than that, flipper action, the lock side on this is absolutely gorgeous with the, you know, the frame lock, the Reeves integral frame lock with a over travel stop on the inside, as well as a lock bar insert there, so you don't have any sort of lock stick whatsoever. You've got a nice big straight heavy duty pivot that allows you to adjust your pivot anywhere, just, you know, with a dime or so. You don't need any specialized tools to do that. If you're going to take it completely off, it says that you need a Rick Hinderer kind of type tool here. And all you really need to do is just take a penny and kind of a little bit of a file, and you can build yourself one, no problem. Or even a screwdriver and a file, and you can build yourself one. No, there's tons of videos out there on how to build those Rick Hinderer style things. The jimping on here is excellent. It doesn't hurt your fingers. It's in the right place. The texturing on here is really, really Vaseline factory worthy. Some people have an issue with these symmetrics on here. You've got a fat titanium with the thin titanium, but the G10, even though they're the same size, they look a little bit off, but I think they fit beautifully together. Now, this blade here is a really, really gorgeous stone-washed CPM 20 CV blade, which is one of the super steels that is out there. Holds an edge, tough, stainless, easy to sharpen, and you know, the main thing is it holds an edge forever, which is the thing that you want in a steel, I think, above a lot of other things. And the only real knock I have on this knife here is the fact that you've got Torx screws here, but you've also got Phillips screws on your clip. I don't get it. Like, is it because these are less expensive than these, or what? I don't know. At first I thought, well, you've got three different types. You've got straight, you've got Torx, and you've got Phillips. I'm like, why the hell do you need three? But then I thought, well, you can change the pivot here with a dime, and that's really handy. I can understand that. But what I don't understand is, why Phillips? Why Torx? Why not just have Torx, and say 6mm Torx, 6mm Torx? I just don't get it. But beautiful flow-through construction, so it's easy to clean. Yeah, this is the knife of 2021 for me. And none of my knives are safe queens, although I've given to carrying this less because I just think to myself, damn, what if I lost it? Then I've lost a $650 knife, and then I'd be crying, and they're not very easy to replace. But that is my top 5 knives for 2021. I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you a thumbs up, and I'd love to get you to subscribe to this channel to help me spread my voice. But above all, I want to thank all of you out there who have subscribed this year and who have followed me and left comments, because I enjoy that so much. Many of you may not know that this channel here probably saved me my mental life, and maybe even my whole life, because I have been off work for 5 years. I've been stuck at home recovering from surgery after surgery after surgery, and I needed an outlet, and this interaction with you folks is such a godsend. And I have to say that even the stuff that's not 100% positive, it just helps me to become better for you guys. My wife too as well appreciates all the love and support that you guys have shown me. I talk about you guys to her all the time. She knows a lot of your names, Pat, Don, you guys, you guys know how much I appreciate this. Mr. Anderson, for sending me the knife to give away, and for sending the Swiss champ to my wife. She will do that video, she promises. I just gotta say, the love and support that you guys have showed me has been so fantastic. And from me and my wife and me and my family to you and your family, I hope that you guys have a wonderful year coming up. Hope you guys stay safe, and I hope you guys get through these holidays as sane as I have. All right, thanks so much for stopping by. Please stay safe, keep your stick on the ice, keep the shiny side up, and for the final time in 2021, the Big Canucker says adios.